Wonderful. So tell us your full name
My name is Rosalind Renee Smith.
and tell us about where were you born, raised, things like that.
Well, I'm 48 years old, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm your Georgia peach.
Wonderful. And tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Well, growing up, I had a wonderful childhood, a great childhood, wonderful parents. Um, they set boundaries and rules for the house, and I was good. I loved to sing and dance, and just a happy child. And I owe that to my parents. They saw that I stayed in a child's place, and so I had a great childhood.
Wonderful. So, in your walk with the Lord, did you ever encounter something that you felt like if it had not been for God, you would not have made it through?
I've learned that God has been my everything. He's always been with me. Even when I didn't know him and the power of his might, I knew God was with me. I started to step outside the boundaries of my parents. I began to run with the wrong crowd, hang out with the wrong people, date the wrong men. Things got really hard for me. I found myself in abusive relationships, multiple abusive relationships. It's like that's what I was drawing into my space. Things got really hard. The last time it happened, I vowed to God that I was his, that I would never let a man lay his hand on me. That period of my life, although it was the toughest period, I learned to trust God in that period.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, tell me about your ministry or your service to the Lord. What do you do now?
I've started an organization. The organization is called You're Worth It. It's a nonprofit organization. It helps women to understand their worth, understand their giftings and callings from God, so that they don't have to depend on a man or they don't have to depend on others to feel like they're worth anything. They can be fulfilled with a relationship with God. So that's what I've dedicated my life to. I don't want women to have to go through what I went through. And if you have gone through what I've gone through, let me tell you, God is for you. Just surrender your life and he'll see that he'll bring you out and you'll blossom. You won't even recognize yourself.
Well, thank you so much for being a nominee for this year's Woman of the Year.
Thank you for the chance.
All right, I am here with Miss Holcomb. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. How are
Wonderful.
you?
I am doing great. Now tell us your first and last name.
Teresa Holcomb.
Awesome. And your age and where you're from.
I'm 55 years old, born and raised in Ohio.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about your childhood.
As a child, I loved hanging out with my friends and just having a good time.
Oh, that sounds great. Was it like that the entire time, even into your teens, got into your 20s?
Not entirely. I think the older that I got, and I just began to hear more people talk about getting older was so difficult and everything. And I really just wanted God to just take my life and stuff because I was intimidated. I didn't want to grow up.
So let me ask this for our audience listening. Are you saying that you wanted to commit suicide?
No, I didn't want to commit suicide, but let me just say that suicide is serious. And had I committed suicide, there's so many things that I would have lost out in my lifetime. And so I'm just thankful that suicide was never something that I thought about or anything, but it is real. And so, I just want people to know that they're fearfully and wonderfully made. I've even battled with my own health issues for many, many years. At one point in my life, I couldn't even walk. but I kept on serving the Lord and my family. Pause.
So let me ask you about ministry. Tell me about your ministries that you do.
I'm a community leader, a mother, and a mentor. I've taken in other children as my godchildren, which has been an honor. And I serve people of all backgrounds and just try to show them the love of God. I started a women's group and a children's group, and also I did a Women in Leadership Summit, because I often find that women in leadership don't have anyone to talk to when they're hurting. And so that internalizes, that stigma can internalize the pain that they have inside of them, and so which makes them suffer.
So when it comes to your ministry, how do you feel your ministry is effective?
I talk with women or people of all backgrounds, and while I'm doing that, I actually talk to them, and God, He does the rest. He cleanses them, and He strengthens them, and He empowers them so that they can live in their purpose.